Hello everyone. Today we are going to fly the Caribou and Miss Becky, the AI co-pilot, is going to do a touch and go uh, with the Caribou. So I've got the plane all set up for takeoff, and once I get the plane airborne, I'll go ahead and change over the controls to her. So all the temperatures and pressures are good. We got one notch of flaps in, and we'll put all the power up, put brakes on, and then release brakes, and off we go. Caribou takes off nice, tracks down the runway pretty good. And we dump the flaps, gear up. And I'm going to hand over the controls to Becky right now, so she has control of the plane. We're going to do a left pattern for runway 22. One thing I noticed about the AIs, they do pretty much by the numbers. The airspeed and the altitude that the AIs use is usually typical to the airplane and to the area that you're flying in. So she's good at keeping airspeed and altitude, but as you can see, she has about a 3-degree left and a 3-degree right oscillation going. And it's usually in the bigger planes. The DC-3, she does the same thing. It has a little bit of a oscillation to it. Altitude-wise, no problem. It's just that 3-degree change back and forth. And what I was always concerned is when they come in for landing, whether it was going to be center line or not. But somehow it's timed so that the 3-degree turn is flattened out by the time they put the wheels down. But yeah, it's a little on the annoying side. She's bringing the gear down here and bringing the flaps in. We're turning downwind for runway 22. And you can see the airspeed. She's kind of holding that airspeed right where it needs to be. And then pattern altitude for Sussex County, Georgetown Airport. So she's squared off here. And again, the oscillation begins 3 degrees left. I noticed in the Beaver, flying straight and level, they do fine. But for some reason, the AIs I have cannot land the Beaver. They just goof it up every time. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why the case is that way. All the other planes, Cessna 152, the Cessna 172s, the Beech 18, the airliners, they nail it. I mean, they just nail it. And they can hold the heading and altitude in cruise flight with no problem. Once you get the plane where you want it at altitude and heading, and you turn over to AI, they pretty much hold it pretty steady in that area. And then once I get close to the airport that I'm going to land at, I will go ahead and make the radio call to get the actual approach and then I'll turn the controls over to the AI, and they normally will finish it out. I mean, from the time you give them the controls until the wheels hit the runway. I usually always turn the AI off once they've made contact with the ground, because you never know where they're going to go on the runway once they've got wheels down. So it's very interesting when you do a stop and go, how they track on the runway. If you have a nose wheel aircraft, it's good. They can track it down the runway, but for some reason, if it's a tail wheel, they can get off kilter pretty quick. Well, actually, as fast as I do. I get off kilter easy with the BJT for some reason. I just not on the rudder fast enough. And, first thing you know, I'm all over the place. But with the nose wheel aircraft, the AIs, they just nail it every time. So they put them down a little hard, harder than I like to flare on a lot of my landings. Even with tail dragger, I like to put a little bit of flare in. I notice the AIs, they come in flat, and you wonder sometimes how they're not taking the gear off, but they don't. But controlling the aircraft, they do very well. And again, like I said, it seems to be always by the numbers. The Caribou is such a cool looking airplane. Back in the day when Air America was flying, that was one of their aircraft that they would fly. You can see she's turning on final here. And again, got that 3-degree left, 3-degree right sway coming in, but it kind of equals out right at the bottom. You'll see where the left and right oscillation is not quite as dramatic as it is out here. But yeah, Air America used Caribous a lot, along with Porters and some other STOL planes. But I love the Caribou ever since that plane came out in the early days. I've always loved it. It's just such a cool airplane. And it can carry quite a bit of load, and it has good distance, got good airspeed. So anyway, you can see she's coming in a little wobbly, but she is on the VASI, the red over white. She nails it. And once she gets that red over white, it stays there. She stays on glide slope. This is where I start wondering how squared off they're going to be when they hit the center line. And you're going to see that she puts the left gear down just slightly first before the right gear hits. She stays center line, which is really good. And she increases the throttle slowly, and then gets the plane rolling, stays straight, and off we go. Now, she made me a little nervous at the end of the runway here. This is a long runway. For some reason, she used it all up. And we just, we made the top of these trees blow a little bit, I do believe. But she got over them, and everything's okay. But I love using AI. I would rather use AI than taking the pause button, because I just put it on AI, let it fly, and go do what I need to do right quick, and come back, and usually the plane's still intact. She's got the gear up, she's put the flaps up, and she's getting ready to make another pattern, but we're going to cut it off here. I hope you enjoyed the flight, and if you got AIs, use them. They're a lot of fun to work with. Talk to y'all later.